Oh, hi. My name is Soren. Was someone asking about me? Was it my ex? Shade? No? Okay, well, up until recently, I was a bartender in Germany while studying philosophy in my free time. As I'm sure you can imagine, it was very surprising to me to discover that I was actually one of the Wisle from the Order of the Vance here in Santorin. When I was pulled back, I decided to continue my study of philosophy and found that it had even more meaning when viewed in the context of the invisible sun and the structure of the universe. I have dedicated myself to the study of the true nature of things and their true names. Shortly after returning, I was reunited with my childhood best friend, Lucas, and I'm very glad for their friendship as we all try to recover after the war. Ah, the war. What a delightful mystery it is. I would love to learn the true nature of that someday. But for now, I will continue my studies, read in my free time, and... Oh yeah, I liked bartending so much I picked up a few evening shifts. You know, just for fun.
Why, hello. Have you come to me from the Pale, wayward spirit? You may call me Lucas. I study the veil between life and death, and how these energies may be tapped into by those in the waking world. No, I am no member of any schools or circles or cloisters. I'm an independent researcher, an apostate. That is why I am able to devote so much of my time to my meditation and research without interruption. You see, in my youth, I was preparing to join one of the magical institutions, but the war. It interrupted my studies. Yes, I went to ground for some time, to the land of shadow. I found myself in a place called Boston. It was quaint, if not a bit rough around the edges. My memories from those days are hazy at best. I've only recently returned here to Santorin, though, which is just as well. My time away has given me newfound vigor and a specific focus for my talents as a Wisle. For my part, I hope to study a way to travel back and forth freely between the realms of the living and that of the dead. Perhaps, if I am lucky, I may find a way to bring back those who have crossed over in death. Though I remain uncertain of one particular fact. Do those from the realm of shadow find their way to walk beneath the pale sun? I hope to uncover this truth, for my own sake.
Oh, how embarrassing for you. My sister should be just around the corner. I'm sure that's who you meant to find. No? Interesting. You may call me Soraya. Manners would dictate I ask for your name in return, but I have no desire to know the name of someone I will likely never again acknowledge. I'm sorry, were you expecting a friendlier interaction? What an awkward assumption to make. I'm afraid there's not much to know about me. I spent most of my time in the shadow maintaining the ledgers for some of my sister's more illicit activities. I didn't particularly want to get involved, but I always did have a hard time saying no to Shade. Here in Fartown, my loyalty remains unchanged. Despite our very different social preferences, there is nothing I wouldn't do for her. And I do mean nothing. While she breaks hearts everywhere she goes, I much prefer the company of the demonic beings I summon. They have proven to be far less exasperating. Don't be mistaken, I do have a few select companions. I just don't have time for insipid fools, which, quite frankly, is the majority of the general population. There are many things I wish to accomplish, things that I have no intention of sharing with a stranger I just met, but I can assure you my endeavors keep me busy, and as such I care very little for idle conversation, which, coincidentally enough, is exactly what this has been.
Hi, I'm Scheherazade, more commonly known as Shade. But let's be honest, you probably already knew that. Why, yes, this is my party. Ignore my brooding sister in the corner. She would prefer that. Before we came back to Fartown, Soraya and I lived quite the life in Mexico City, where I made the most interesting friends. I developed quite a habit of eliminating anyone who made trouble for me or my sister. So my work in the city was simple, easy, straightforward. Nothing like the life I returned to here. I was able to bring back my most prized possession, my Colt Python. Yes, that's a gun. And no, I'm not afraid to use it. But you don't have to worry about that. We're friends, right? Maybe more. Who knows? I do have a lot of friends. Even still, there are some problems my trusty Colt and itchy trigger finger can't fix. Recently, I've had something taken from me. Something I can't live without. And I will weave the deepest depths of darkness and the hottest fires of hell to get it back. Anyone who can help me will earn a loyal companion. Anyone who stands in my way, well, you know what they say. Old habits die hard.
Hi, I'm Alana Albion. I just returned to Saturnine not too long ago. I'm finding it a bit difficult to acclimate, if I'm being honest. This world, it's so different than the peaceful life I left behind in Shadow. Everything here is so terrifying, so strange. Walking words, angels on street corners, malicious mirrors. Some days I find myself paralyzed with fear and indecision as I face new choices. What I should do, how I should live. It becomes so much that I break, shatter, into 1,000 literal pieces before I gather the strength to reform. I know I lived a life here before the war, but I view things differently now. I'm not the same as I once was. While I struggle to reacclimate to the strangeness of this world, there are a couple things that still make sense, that bring comfort. Weaving magic comes as easy to me now as it did before, and my gardening hobby from Shadow not only helped me find a job, but also brought some peace. Not to mention I've got a few friends, new and old, and they're certainly making the slow transition easier. But my heart aches for those who I left behind in my old life. I know I could go back to Shadow. Nothing is stopping me. I can go back to my peaceful life in the cabin, with Peanut, with Lycia. But I can't in good consciousness go back to something I know didn't exist.
Invisible Sun is a tabletop role-playing game developed by Monty Cook Games. In this system, players portray spellcasters called Visley in a surreal, fantastic setting as they adjust to their new lives in the aftermath of a terrible conflict known only as the War. Players in Invisible Sun control the narrative by pursuing their own individual character arcs to achieve story goals and advance their characters in power and skill. The GM reacts to how the players interact with the world and influences each character's story via the Sooth deck, a set of cards that represent shifts in both the in-game currents of magic and the narratives crafted by the players. There are 9 suns in Invisible Sun, and each sun represents a facet of reality. Together with the dark, these suns form the known universe, the actuality. 8 of these suns are organized in an ordered path, and the 9th, Invisible Sun, shines light throughout the actuality. We would know the light from the Invisible Sun as magic. After seeking refuge from the war in the shadow of the Grey Sun, a land of falsehoods and illusions, which we as players, GMs, and viewers would call our world, our main characters return home to the world under the indigo sun of truth, in the post-war magical metropolis of Saturnine. The city, much like the player characters, is in the process of rebuilding after the war. 17 districts of Saturnine remain, separated by large swaths of desolate cityscape called Ruined Expanses. Within the city, our story takes place in the pocket dimension of Fartown, Saturine's Visley district, the most magical part of a deeply magical city. Under the light of the Sun of Truth, our players will relearn what it means to be Visley. They will recover pieces of themselves lost to an apathetic world. They will reclaim their lives. Welcome to the actuality. Welcome to Reclamations. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's session of Invisible Sun. Tonight we are on our 8th of 9 sessions. We are on the Gold Sun, the sun of transformation, rebirth, and restoration. And before we hop on into it, who would like to give the in-character recap who is not Lucas, because we subjected them to that last week? If no one volunteers, I'm just going to pick somebody. Okay, so Raya, we're finishing your arc tonight, probably. So would you like to tell us what happened last week?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
What happened last week? That feels so long ago. So, somebody get me started. Where did we start?
We traveled
Alana's
somewhere.
home.
Oh, that's right. We met at Alana's home, and we went to this place. We were trying not to die. We went to this weird random house. This weird creepy old person was following us around. But we made it to this weird house. We went in. These weirdos sat down at the table, and I don't know what the fuck happened, but it was weird. Eventually they snapped out of it. Lucas managed to acquire the glass of wine that they needed to find, and we left. Everyone was acting really weird. They destroyed a mirror, which I think ended up being not a mirror. I didn't like that mirror. It showed things that I didn't really like. And then the murder mirror, yes. And then we left. And then what did we do after that? We went back to, we didn't go to a bar. I remember that because Soren, for some strange reason, didn't want to go to a bar. What am I missing?
Lucas
I
looked
think
ecstatic. As ecstatic as Lucas can be.
Right. Oh, that's right. Well, I didn't know that, but Lucas went and took care of some stuff, and the managed to get themselves out of the mess with the people that were summoning them. I think they made friends with the glass of wine, which is still, I mean, obviously, it's probably not even the strangest thing that's happened. And the aqueducts are officially theirs, right? Like, yeah. And then they were also doing other weird things that I didn't quite understand, but I think it was like doing good things, like helping people. I can't hear anything you're saying, so I hope... That was a lot of talking. What else happened? So...
We all went our separate ways after that.
Yeah.
There was a suspicious amount of charity that took place shortly after we went our separate ways. But I don't know. I had a dream and have been hitting the books very hard over the last couple of days. So
You're always hitting the
I
books.
haven't really been doing anything with the group since then. So.
We're all still... That's not even true. Never mind.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say alive.
Oh, yes.
But it hasn't been true for a while.
It's patently false.
Thank you, Lucas.
So, where are we all meeting up today? Which is at some point prior to 2 weeks after last session.
I imagine we've spent at least... I think Alana is probably hovering around our place. I think Lucas might also be.
Yes.
So if we meet at our place, that makes sense. God, I can't believe I'm saying that.
I have 100% been hovering, as you said, around your place. Last time I checked, there are people after you.
I've been phasing in and out, even if you can't see me, Soraya. I do occasionally talk to you. In your head.
Good God. You could just, talk. Okay. It's fine.
This is perfect, though. I can speak to you without being in the physical presence of you, which is exactly what you prefer.
That's not It's not quite right, but whatever. It's fine.
Isn't that what telephones are for?
In a way, yes. You can communicate with spirits through the phone.
Okay. I just, I had thought that technology had already been created. Yeah.
Yeah, but you assume that I would have a phone. Why would I have a phone when I don't want to talk to people?
Your
sure
sister has to have at least one.
Yeah, I keep it. She has direct instruction to keep it as far away from me as possible, or I will break it. That's like the third phone we've had.
I see. Well, if everyone is gathered at the dungeon, then I would probably be the last one to arrive, aka also the only one to arrive. And I imagine I would, standing on manners, I would knock. But assuming that I'm eventually let in the door, I would, enter. And I have a proposition for the group, actually. If we are all, available today, are we free?
Yeah. I mean, as free as one can be, but
Sure.
propose away.
Yeah, well, of course, we're not going to get into, universal principles of freedom and truth and joy today. But that is a conversation for another time.
It's not. It's not. But go on.
You're right. I will not have that conversation with you, Soraya.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. We're just trying to
Propose.
Do the greatest good.
Do your proposal.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I think I have a way to fix the oldest house.
What?
It's a very long story, but I think taking the research that I have been doing and applying it practically, I could effectively call upon the house to reappear, to regain its magical power based upon the knowledge of its true name.
That's amazing.
And so I have spoken with Euphemia, and we have discussed that this afternoon I will go visit, and we will try this new spell for the first time. If you would like to come, you're welcome to. There are no obligations, of course. I know that there are many things going on, and we have a ticking clock as well, but perhaps the house is useful, gives you a safe place.
I think it's a good idea.
I'm always down.
So when do we leave?
I figure if we leave in about half an hour or so, that gives us enough time to get there at our designated meeting time. So pack yourself a light snack, perhaps get a little water, something. Perhaps change into comfortable walking shoes, and we'll go just as soon as everyone's ready.
Thanks, Mom.
Okay, I was not aware that we were related, but if...
Oh, God.
Look, if that's a new nickname, I can work with it, I suppose.
She's being sarcastic, Soren.
I appear over, behind Soraya's shoulder, just kind of floating my head. Just say, that is sound advice, though.
Snacks and water and comfortable shoes.
Yeah?
I'll pack us some food. Go get ready.
Thank you, Ilana.
I need a drink.
I'll pack a fresh bottle of whiskey.
Thanks, Alana.
While we were all packing, I will pull my first sooth card of the night. We have pulled the Compelling Voice, value 2, associated with secrets, ravens, books, and flame. So if that is your heart, you have a +1 to all of your adventures until the next pull. Meanings, control, and persuasion.
Josh, is your web capture on?
Compelling Voice.
What house was that?
I believe me and Soren. I heard flames.
Yeah. I caught it. I just caught it. I came in too late. Perfect. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. To be fair, I feel like I'm always wearing comfortable shoes. So.
Yeah, same.
But I do leave to give myself some space from people, since we're going to be spending a lot of time together today.
Do we not spend a lot of time together to start with?
Yeah, sometimes I just need a break. I am gone less than I would have been in the past, though. So, growth. Or something.
I just clean my guns and wait.
Yeah. You would notice that I'm wearing my brown combat boots today instead of my black combat boots. I put a little extra padding in the brown ones. They're a little more comfortable for a good walk.
Wow, the brown boots today.
Yeah, well, they match the brown pants and the brown coat, so I figure, perhaps just make everything, one color for today.
Getting serious about this, I see.
Look,
It reminds me of an amusing joke I heard once.
oh, please, Lucas. I love humor. Please share your joke.
Well, I'm not good at rehearsing jokes or reciting them, but the punchline implies that a frightened person might wear clothes that would hide the fact that they get scared.
You might have better luck if you knew the whole joke.
I assure you, the joke itself is amusing.
If only we could share in that amusement.
Are we trying to tell jokes again?
Oh, you're back quickly.
What color clothes would hide your fear?
What?
Oh, God.
What? Is that part of the joke?
I don't know. I'm just here waiting for everyone to be ready to go.
I'm ready.
I need that whiskey already.
You're
Fine.
welcome to carry it.
That's not what I said.
If you're gonna drink it, you're gonna carry it. And I'll hand you the bottle.
I'd
I would
offer
like
you
to
a
s-
hand,
I
but I
would-
can't manipulate it. Sorry.
You can always summon a demon to carry
Oh,
it
that's
for you.
exactly what I'm gonna do.
Oh my God, you're not gonna
Oh
summon
my
a
God.
demon to carry your fucking whiskey, you lazy.
I fucking am.
Oh my god, I love it.
I take the
Okay.
whiskey.
Thanks. Was hoping to keep all my fingers intact today.
Oh, I love it. Does anybody else have any other preparations to make? All right.
I barely know what we're doing, so I'm just along for the ride.
We're
I
just
got-
going to. We're going. Are we going to?
The oldest house, I believe.
Are we going back? And we're just
Yeah.
gonna try to make it fixed.
Yeah, we're just going to go back and fix it. Euphemia will be there because, you know, that is kind of like her home, I guess.
How has she been doing?
Oh, I think she's all right. We've talked a couple of times. I think she will be okay, but having the house fixed will be a great relief. You know, imagine if your house was broken. It would not be fun. You know, if like a child took it and flipped it on its side, Alana, it would make it very hard to live in it. Similar thing.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Soren, you are in possession of the 6-directional compass, right?
Yeah, I did hang on to the compass. It helped me, you know, approach the problem from a different direction. So yeah, I would be happy to lead the group back to the oldest house.
Sure. Yeah. It's not any more difficult of a walk this time around as opposed to how it was last time. You do all have to stick relatively close together because you're walking in directions that hitherto unknown to you, at least for the vast majority of your lives. Pass through the city. It's a pretty nice day. It's still perpetually autumn, as it always is. There's a bit of a chill in the air. Indigo sun is high in a very clear sky. You pass a couple of street performers on your way out. One of them in particular seems to be basically is in front of like a large blank wall with like a piece of chalk and is basically doing math on the wall. And as they're writing out equations and as they're doing all of these very obscure mathematical operations, what comes out of the wall is actually a very musical sound. Even whether or not you can actually follow along with the math that is going on, it's captivating in its own right, just being in the presence of this person who is going through basically solving out their music. But that's probably the most interesting you see on your way out. Eventually, you do get to the sort of the edge of the bleed, which is the area of Fartown, which is the edge of the little pocket dimension you're on, and you come to this large expanse of just dead, just dirt and stuff. You can see the oldest house very far off in the distance, and it's as boring a trek out there this time as it was first time around. But eventually you do make your way out to the oldest house, this what is now currently this ramshackle little white cottage in the middle of nowhere. You do not see Euphemia at the moment, and as the house is currently, for lack of a better word, dead, there's nothing barring you from entry. You can just walk right in. No locked doors or anything like that.
Well, if we are expecting Euphemia to be here, then I would knock on principle, because you don't want to enter someone's house without knocking. It is just rude.
Sure. Yeah, you knock, and it's a very small house. So you would rapidly be able to come to the conclusion that either she's not inside or she's ignoring you.
I open the door.
You open the door, and the house is empty.
Well, at least she's not rude.
Were you expecting Euphemia to be here?
Well, we did agree that we were going to, fix the house today. So I was hoping she would be here, since it is kind of her house.
Maybe she's late?
Maybe she ran out to get some nails and a hammer.
It's possible, but that is not required for this particular project.
If she doesn't show up in...
Is there a
Add
couch
some
to
spell
lay on?
components.
What was that, Soren?
I'm just musing to myself.
Shade, there is a couch. It's not a particularly clean or comfortable looking couch, but there's a couch.
Can I... I'm like, can I weave it clean? I have darkness, fire, and blood. I don't think any of those are gonna help get it clean.
If you can go through the qualities and come up with two of them that sound like they might be used for cleaning, then sure. I don't see any reason why you couldn't. It'd be a relatively trivial task.
Health and distraction?
Maybe not destruction.
Movement? Health and movement? Strength and movement? I'm gonna move all of the dirt away from...
Okay, sure. It's a roundabout way, so it might be a little... Yeah, sure. I'll say it takes 2 sorcery to do this in a roundabout way. But, so you go ahead and you weave your magic, and it probably heats up a couple degrees in here. But the result is A, a much cleaner couch, and B, this, like, fist-sized clump of just compressed, compacted dust and dirt and just stuff.
It's
That just gets-
disgusting.
I kick it outside.
Yeah, it just gets, like, flung at the wall. Just like, you kick it outside. But,
And I lay on the couch.
sure, you lay on the couch.
Like long ways, feet up on the armrest, hands behind my
Sure.
head. Just waiting.
If she
Sure.
doesn't...
You found me a... Okay.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, she does arrive late, which is, at the very least, Soren, you would know, is very unlike her. She probably arrives maybe like 10 or 15 minutes late, but she does get to the oldest house in a relatively reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
All right. Were you stuck back at the campus, or just is everything all right?
Yeah, I
Getting cold feet?
How have you been feeling?
well, Soren, I have faith in you, but it's a little hard being back.
I can understand that.
I would understand if you look around and you see a house, but I'm standing in the corpse of my friend. But anyway, it's not about that right now.
Can I put I put my hands on her shoulders and look at her.
Sure.
If this works, it will no longer be a corpse.
Here's hoping.
I would just like to point out, and I kind of phase in, death is temporary.
For some.
Well, with that attitude, it's not.
I have to agree with Lucas on this one.
Well,
Are we doing this?
Sure. So in order to do this, I will clear out a small section of floor. I will sit down. I've got a couple of things prepared. A component of this spell is that you have to be very familiar with the subject. And so I have some correspondence back and forth, letters between Euphemia and I discussing this exact occasion, and some notes that I have taken about the house, and particularly about the personality of the house. I probably have somewhere like 3 pages of notes that I've got spread out before me. And as I do this, I will take a full bottle of ink and put that next to my pages. And then I will, pull out my grimoire, my spell book, and go over to where I have written down the spell that I've created. And as we do this spell, it will take a little while, as I have to focus on the notes, on the essence of who this house is, in order to effectively divine its true name. And then as we do this, I will effectively just enter into a trance, thinking very deeply. And on the exterior, you can see that my eyelids are very lightly closed, but you can see like rapid eye movement underneath. As on the inside, I'm just focusing, just thinking very, very hard. And then the ink in my little vial of ink magically floats out, creating these like strands, these threads of ink. And as they go, they will actually soak first into the pages, and then the writing on those pages will evaporate, leaving blank pages of paper. And as the casting of this spell comes to its culmination, there will be just a moment where this ink that has vanished from the page almost materializes in the air before just dispersing into the house. And as it does this, my eyes will open, and I will speak the true name of the house, summoning it to return here. I will spend, it is 7 sorcery in order to cast this spell.
Mm-hmm. So to quickly clarify, you are still rolling against the level of the house, which is higher than 7.
Yes.
So you have a 7 added to your venture because of the level of the spell. You have 1 added to your venture because of the current Sooth card at play. And as this is a sort of deduction type action, you could spend 1 from your intellect pool as well.
Okay, and I do have a skill in Formal Magic. Could I add that?
This is less formal magic and more of a place of intrinsic power, but you could add 1 from your hidden knowledge pool.
Sure, I will do that. Why not?
Okay, and let's see, that's 7. 1, 2, 3. I think at that point you actually don't need to roll. You have constructed a high enough venture that you automatically succeed. And so, yeah, you speak the name of the oldest house, which to you is... You're probably one of the only people who could actually comprehend the word that you're saying. This is in a language that is sort of like a proto Islay language, which is what you speak. You can definitely see where this word might have mutated into other words that are perhaps more commonly spoken, but you're definitely able to identify this particular word as something that there is no real direct translation to. It's something like the word itself, it describes something like a sanctuary, but it's not a sanctuary as a physical place. It's a sanctuary of people. It's a sanctuary of being surrounded by friends and family and a sort of social safety. And that is what you were able to roughly determine this word might mean. Currently, whatever this word is, it reverberates in everybody's ears, and the house begins to shake ever so slightly. The fireplace in particular is currently it's just ash and burned out wood, completely dead looking, but as Soren speaks up this word, slowly, like something that is being woken up, it begins to light up. Oddly enough, as the fire begins to ignite, the old burned out wood in there actually sort of almost reinvigorates itself into like decent firewood, and it grows warmer in this very small space, which only stays a small space for a brief while, as you hear this sort of rapid clicking and clacking as the house unfolds on either side of you. You would probably have to reach out your arms a bit to stabilize yourself, as in the front and the back, the house just expands in both directions as it unfolds on either side, right and left. Any of you who are standing more towards the fireplace, more towards the back of the house, would probably notice the floor being raised up from below you. You might also be standing in an area where a dual staircase forms, leading up into more of the second floor of the house, and the rest of you would be watching this entire second story structure just raise up from the ground out of almost nothing. The house itself seems to inhale for a minute. Everything just stops for just a brief second. And then the cracking stops, and it is replaced by the rapid opening and closing of doors, which sounds like something between a thunderous applause and a raging stampede. But the house itself, now this brilliantly lit mansion and magnificent structure, the house itself is once again alive. For her part, if you will permit her, Euphemia runs up to Soren and will give you a great big hug. She is sobbing.
Yeah. I told you that this would work.
I'm sorry, I ever doubted you.
That
You
was
proofread all of
amazing.
my research.
I would have approved it sooner if I knew it could do this.
It's all right. Thank you, Alana. I appreciate the kind words.
It's about time we had some good news.
Congratulations, Soren.
Thank you. This is what I have been working on.
For its part, the house actually turns off almost all of its lights, except for the ones leading to the up and to the second floor right-hand wing. Clearly attempting to guide somebody in that direction.
No.
Shall we?
Might as well.
Do we? Okay.
I think the hero of the hour should go first.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I'll walk in that direction that it is indicating then.
Sure. You head upstairs for a bit. You look to the right-hand wing of the house, which you were expecting this long, infinite hallway, as you have already seen this house expand into, but you only see a single door, which if you are to open, you would be able to open it and look straight out into Mentor's library.
The fuck?
Well,
Is it supposed to do that?
Did you make that addition when you brought it back?
I did not control the form it took.
Maybe it's rewarding you. I clap Soren on the shoulder. I think you made a new friend.
I'll go visit the library another time. I feel like, today has been enough.
Are you sure?
have
Yeah,
all
if
the
I go
time
in
the
there.
world.
Yeah, if I go in there, it will take weeks. I may not ever come back out.
Does sound right for you.
Well, take note of the door. You can come back
Sure.
at your leisure.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. One, Soren, you would be able to identify this quiet, obscure corner of the library. Well, I say corner as if it's not an infinite place that has no corners, but you would be able to identify this place. You sort of brought yourself to this very out of the way location to speak your own secret name, which you used to escape the infinite library and return back to your house. And if you do indeed turn away from the door and close behind you, again, you feel the house sort of like pause as if on an inhale. And as it sort of releases and the lamps seem to just flicker ever so slightly brighter, you swear just on the edge of your hearing, you hear your own secret name, almost as a whisper. And in this moment, the scourge in your intellect pool is removed as you regain that whatever piece of you that was lost in the ritual of the Black Cube.
That is very exciting. Okay.
I go back downstairs and pull out myself on the couch.
Sure. It's a much nicer couch now.
I'm just playing with some fire in my fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Waiting.
As you do, you notice a small collection of like small gems and odd little knickknacks. Just these random like stuff you might pull out of your pocket. These small little dancing bits of thing.
I forgot about those.
Look, it's Lucas's
Sort of
joy.
dancing around on the foyer floor.
They're still here. Oh. How joyous. Should I roll to see if they collapse?
Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go roll depletion.
Roll to 0.
Oh, yep. So there are these little happy dancing little things, and Lucas, just as quick as the magic is sort of the tether is sort of reconnected back to you, you're almost like surprised, like, oh, what's going on? And you basically, as soon as it clicks, you like lose focus on it just out of sheer surprise. And you hear this like little collection of just things just like squeal out like, oh no, just all collapse.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
My joy is spent.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I did.
What's next on the agenda?
Was that a Mare question or an Alana question?
That was an Alana question.
I glance to Shade. Well, assuming this is permanent, there's at least one more ritual we have to figure out. Which at this point, we probably have all the pieces, question mark. So it's just a matter of setting up a time.
Yeah, pretty
with,
much.
Pontiff.
Pontiff's on call.
With Emma. Emma too, because we need her to. She's also got our yeah. Sorry,
Linda.
I hit it on accident.
Everybody go quick hide, except for Mare.
Oh.
Oh
Damn
no,
it.
that's mute. No.
Do I need to hide again?
No, you're good because you're ahead of me.
Okay.
Alex, and then yep.
Sorry, I clicked back wrong. Sorry.
Well.
But go ahead.
I was just saying, unbeknownst to everybody, whenever I have not been home, I have been wrapping things up, saying goodbye to my clients, finding them new companions. I would have, would you like to narrate me returning that piece of glass, or just say that I did it?
Yeah, you just have done it.
I will have deposited that in my sister's name. I don't do anything around the house because I don't want anybody to notice.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But as I mean, it's 2 weeks now. So as we're walking around and I'm sitting in this house, on the way here, I've been slowly saying goodbye to everything. that I know. The streets, the way my friends look at each other, Alana's hair, the way she holds my hand, the familiar houses, the unfamiliar houses. And it might look like it definitely looks like I'm waiting for something. It could probably be inferred that I am just waiting for the ritual, but we'll see.
Do you wait until the very last day that you can to perform the ritual?
I leave that up to my sister.
I would be gently poking you, Sarai, to not leave it to the last day.
There is definitely and I'm glad that you said that, because there is definitely an inclination to, we'll do it tomorrow.
No.
Or we'll get the pieces. We have all the, once we have all the pieces, I think she'll try to set up a day, but she is looking for excuses. And I think at first the excuses maybe actually almost make sense. But I think as a day goes by or 2 days go by, especially to Alana, who is prodding her, it becomes clear that she's just putting it off.
If you do not make a day, I set the day. And I will tell Pontiff when to come over. Whether you're ready or not.
Fine. We'll do it tomorrow. I imagine this is early, midway through the second week of time that we're, or early, so maybe early second week. Depending on how quick Alana's pushing. Left? Yeah. Okay, that sound good, Alana? Mir? Yeah.
I think I would I was gonna say I'd probably give you after the third time you push it off. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I will also quickly clarify that this ritual will be performed at the Goetic Hall of Records at one of the towers there.
So we will schedule it. I do think, depending on when Alana catches Soraya, I imagine Shade is not around, maybe. I would imagine Shade's off doing things, and this is just, Alana and Lucas are just kind of hovering around the house. And I think if Shade is out, and she thought she was alone with Alana, I could see the day you convince her that we're doing this, it's tomorrow. I will be sitting quietly, sipping on my whiskey, and then I will just suddenly say, "What if I fuck it up?"
We all have faith in you, Soraya. And you're not doing this ritual alone. You're gonna have me, you're gonna have Soren, you're gonna have Pontiff, and Lucas. We're all here to help you.
I couldn't even get Lucas back.
Yeah, but the people who took them had a vendetta. Frankly, they were assholes.
That's true.
God. Lucas.
Even if you should fail, there's no reason to fear.
Just because you're leading this ritual doesn't mean you're alone, and you don't have to do it alone.
No. I know. I just don't want to mess it up. I don't want to get it wrong. She's a pain in the ass. God, she is, but...
You're right.
Undoubtedly.
But she's important to a lot of people. And I'll kind of give Alana a look.
She's a lovable pain in the ass.
Oh, please. She's more important to you than to Alana.
I will glare at
You're right.
Lucas.
They are 100% correct, whether you show it or not. Or else you wouldn't go through all this trouble. You wouldn't have brought her back in the first place.
In such a slapdash manner.
Fuck off.
Oh, hush.
I can't mess it up. I can't.
I'll come over to you where you're sitting. If you're sitting on like an armchair, I'll sit on the arm. I'll just wrap an arm around you.
I will whisper to you in your head. No matter what happens, you've done all you can, and your sister appreciates and loves you for it. And even if things do not work out, I will use my power to help you.
I will try to lock eyes with Lucas. I assume Lucas has... and I will reach a hand up to find Alana's and give it a squeeze.
I'll squeeze back.
Thank you.
None is necessary.
Yeah, it is. But I appreciate you saying that.
This is gonna work.
Yeah. It has to.
We'll make it.
On the morning of the ritual, I can speak. I know words. At some point or another, you would all probably have to make your way over to the Goetic Hall of Records. These 5 towering spires, which are far and above, taller than anything else in Fartown. Did someone have anything to say? I heard.
Yeah, that was me.
You heard it
Okay.
inhale.
Sorry. In the morning of, I make my bed. And I go to my writing desk and I grab the only photo that I have of me and my sister. And I put it in my pocket. And I write a letter. And all that says is, I'm glad it wasn't you. And I put it under my pillow. And I look at the guns. One gun that I brought back with me from the pale, not pale, the before, the gray, thank you. And the one that I purchased here. And I remember that even in the gray, my sister was with me. And she'll be with me on this journey too. And then I get ready to go.
Sure. You make your way up to a relatively, well, actually, it's maybe like a second or third story of one of these 5 enormous towers. You come into a large chamber. Several entire floors are just these large open spaces just dedicated to practicing rituals, as nobody in Satyrine, and potentially nobody in the actuality, is on a whole as good at performing rituals as the Goetics are. Emma Elizabeth is already busy in preparation because there is a 5-hour preparation time for this ritual and then a 2-hour cast time. So she has probably been up early getting things ready. You walk in and you see these very intricate sort of sigils and runes and salt circles and various sort of occult imagery just inscribed on the ground in various fashion, either in these sort of salt circles or lines of various powders. Some of it is just straight burned into the ground. And just everything down to like the position of any tables or stores of equipment seems to have been placed intentionally. For her part, Emma herself is standing in roughly the center of the room, smoking. You see probably about 4. It smells like cigarette in here. Emma herself is standing in the middle of the room, just directing people. She's smoking her cigarette, carrying her little empty bird cage. Alana, are you making that face as you walk in?
I would probably cough a bit and cover my face at the scent of cigarette smoke.
Okay, sure.
But I try to stay as neutral as possible.
Okay.
She's doing us a favor.
Yeah. Well, she seems, for her part, too busy to notice, as long as you're not making. Yeah, she seems too busy to notice if you're making an effort to conceal your reaction. But yeah, there's probably like 10 or 15 people in here performing the preparation. You can see there are 5 smaller circles that are sort of burned into the ground, where you can roughly identify, oh, these are the places where 5 people will be standing. They're roughly spaced equidistant. There's a sort of pentagon sort of thing sort of connecting all of these, connecting the places where everyone is to stand. You would see Pontiff in there. He's just sort of watching everything go on with a smile, like, oh, yeah. He sort of waves as you enter. Alana, hello!
Hey, Pontiff. Thanks again.
Hi. Oh, of course, I'm having a great time watching all this. Never done anything like this. Anyway. But no, of course. It's for Shade. Of course I'd be here.
It's appreciated.
Do we see Baby Shade anywhere?
Yeah, Baby Shade is kind of making herself occupied, sort of like she's still playing with the square bubble, the cube-shaped bubble wand thing that Alana gave her, blowing these cube-shaped bubbles. Every once in a while, one starts to like get close to the ritual lines that are sort of set in the ground, and sometimes without even looking, will just like snap and point, and the bubble will just like be repelled away in the opposite direction.
Did we ever figure out why the fuck she looks like that?
Do you really want to know?
Kind of.
No. I will go up to Emma, Elizabeth, and seems like you've made a lot of progress before we were even able to arrive. Is there anything that we should be doing?
Well, honestly, not really. Preparation is just no one's. I mean, she sort of like looks around and makes sure like no one like can hear.
Sure.
No one special needs to
Right.
participate in that.
Sure.
It's the boring part. No, everyone is ready. I hope you know your sister will have to be, you know, like dead to start this off.
Did I know that?
I don't know if I mentioned it before, honestly. So you might not.
So, yeah, can we just revisit that for a minute? What exactly does that...
Well, so what this is, broadly, you're going to be feeding a lot of energy into the pail as a sort of offering, and in return, you will get your sister's life back. But if the pail is not in possession of her life in the first place, then they have nothing to give you. So she needs to be solidly. As I understand, though, there's someone here to help with that. She sort of indicates the ambassador, who's just sort of there is actually seating around here. You get that this is also a sort of like, these rituals can also be observed.
She's an event.
This one is not, but they can be. Sometimes, if nothing else, but for the fact of how much sheer magical power you need to pull off one of these. But no, the ambassador is sort of like sitting, watching everything. She sort of waves.
Okay. How much longer do we need to set up to prepare?
We're almost done, honestly. If you go ahead and make your preparations, I imagine we'll be done at around the same time. Go ahead and make sure that everybody has collected all of the all of the magical items they'll need to feed this, and I'll be able to supplement any gaps you have in your possession.
Sure. Sure. Thank you again.
Can I go talk to Baby Shade?
Sure. She's over there blowing her cube-shaped bubbles.
Hey, you.
Hey.
How you doing?
Okay. This is a really big place.
It is. Hey, Scheherazade.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your sister.
Well, I haven't seen her in a long time, but I like her a lot.
Oh, yeah?
She's really nice to me, even though she pretends that she's not. But, sometimes if we, get in fights with other people, she's, usually right there. One time she even got in front of me to fight somebody.
Wow. She can be pretty smart, huh?
Mm-hmm. She's kind of boring.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You miss her?
I do.
It's hard to be without your twin, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure wherever she is, she misses you too. Even if she's pretending like she doesn't.
I think we'll get to see each other again soon.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That's it. Just gonna sit down next to her.
Sure.
If while Shade is talking to Baby Shade and Soraya is talking to Emma Elizabeth, I want to walk up to the ambassador.
Mm-hmm. Sure. He's watching. Hi.
I don't think we've formally met. I'm Alana, and I'll hold out my hand to her.
She reaches out. She's very cold. I'm the ambassador.
I heard that you're the one keeping an eye on Shade, on how long she has left here.
Well, kind of. See, I don't really get to pick how long she has. I'm running interference.
You're the liaison.
Kind of, yeah.
Can you promise me that everything's going to be okay today?
I think
Please.
so. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the first time I've seen something like this happen. Shade's case is kind of weird, but, I can't see why the Empress would refuse now. I mean, don't get me wrong. She doesn't really like the arrangements that Shade has right now, but also, it's like, is she going to refuse a gift because of it? Probably not. I mean, she's upset, but she's not, like, spiteful.
Why is she so upset about Shade's case? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, so when things die, they're supposed to go to the Pale. And,
right.
Sometimes it doesn't always happen. But in Shade's case, she was put back into her body in a she, like, bypassed, like, all of the Pale stuff, like, entirely. So, the Empress was, like, not too happy about that. I'm not gonna lie. But, I think it'll be fine. It's not the most angry I've ever seen her.
Yeah, but who wants to deal with a warden when they're angry?
I mean, not me. I'm going to be very honest with you, not me.
Okay. If you don't think it's going to be an issue, I'll trust you on this. Just don't.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be fine. I think.
I'm sure you can understand why we're all worried. There's a lot of people that care about her.
Yeah. She's got to be like dead.
I do not.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, she's I can take care of that unless you have another painless way to do that. something real fast. But yeah, she's got to be in the Pale or on her way for this to work.
I'm going to let the people in charge of the ritual handle that. Thank you for the heads up, Ambassador.
Sure.
And I will walk back to the group.
Does anybody else have any other preparations or conversations you would like to have at this point?
If I might.
Okay.
And if Shade is amenable to it after you speak with yourself and are sitting waiting, I kind of float up behind you. And, well, not really behind you, but I take a floating seat nearby. And I look at you. Hi.
Hi, Lucas.
Are you scared?
It's kind of a complicated question.
Is it, though?
Am I scared of actually dying? No.
Good. There's nothing to be afraid of. I assure you.
My sister's going to take care of things. She always does.
She will. She and your friends.
I appreciate your help in this, Lucas.
I will do all I can.
I know Soren gave us shit for not talking about it at first, but I think we just thought that we didn't need anybody. I didn't need anybody to figure this out. But I look around. I was wrong.
I feel like that's a common pitfall for most of us. There's no shame in it. It took me a lifetime to realize it.
Yeah.
Things will all work out, one way or the other.
One way or the other.
And I'll just kind of silently float off after that.
Lucas, you're capable of holding something, right? Oh, you're not. Oh. Okay. You're not at that level of ghostliness where you can choose to be corporeal partially?
I'm level 5, but I don't have the secret.
Wait, are you a phantom?
I pumped up my ghost power, yes.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah, you don't need the secret at that point. If you're a phantom, you can be you can be corporeal if you want to be.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So yes.
Okay. All right, great. Glad we cleared that up.
Wow, why would I ever buy any of the secrets if I could just do that at level 5?
Yeah. Okay, because there's another stoic in the room, but springing that on her now would be not great. Anyway, so at some point, you all begin to take your places. Before we begin the ritual, I'm going to pull a Sooth card. We pull... Oh dear.
While you're,
Howdy. Okay.
I would say while you're pulling, and now I'm nervous. Well, that response made me nervous. I will pull Shade, I almost said Soraya, aside.
Mm.
And it's like this awkward moment of us just kind of, I imagine us just kind of staring at each other, having a conversation, but like we're not talking. And then I'm going to pull her in for a hug. And I'm going to say quietly, I love you. And I'm going to fix this. I promise.
Soraya, I love you too. But just remember, this wasn't your problem to fix. Besides, don't go getting soft on me now.
Fuck you. I'll pull back. Hands on her shoulders.
Don't let Alana touch my guns, okay?
You can tell her yourself.
And on that note, we have pulled the devil, value 0, the nemesis of Secrets, Ravens, Books, and Flame. So everybody has a -1 on all your ventures.
Oh my god.
And for Alana and Josh, Alana and Soren, you have a -2 on all of your ventures.
Oh my gosh.
Meanings: temptation, lies, charm, persuasion, and words.
This is great.
So.
My god.
All right. So. You all slowly begin to take your places. Emma Elizabeth directs you where to go. Apparently, there is a specific circle for each person present. So the 4 of you who are not Shade plus Pontiff. Most of the people who actually helped prep the ritual have left at this point. It is just the 5 of you who are performing the ritual: Emma Elizabeth, Shade, and the ambassador. So I think 8 people total here. And Baby Shade. Well, yeah, but kind of person, kind of not.
Where is Baby Shade, by the way?
Baby Shade will be in the center of.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah, in the center of all of you, along with not Baby Shade.
We're both Baby Shade. It's fine.
True.
We're all Baby Shade.
But not Baby Shade, Emma directs you towards the center of this sort of pentagon, which all of your friends and your one mentor are standing around. So I spoke with your sister, and apparently this got lost somewhere in translation. You're going to need to be on your way to the Pale to make this work.
Okay.
Your friend here has assured me that she can do that in a fast and relatively painless way, so I'll leave that up to her.
Won't be as bad as the first time, so let's do it.
Emma Elizabeth steps aside, and the ambassador walks to the center of the room. Hey!
Hi! Looks like you finally got me.
I did. You know, this is goodbye, right? Even if you come back. Well, when you come back, I mean.
You know you're always welcome in the dungeon.
I do, but
Say Lovey.
You know my business.
Unfortunately, I do. How do you want to do this?
If you will permit her, the ambassador will take your face into her hands. And... One last time?
I kind of like sneak a glance around. At Lucas and Soren and Soraya and Alana. Pontiff. I look back at the ambassador. One last time.
She takes your face into her hands and leans in and gives you a kiss. And you feel a nice warming sensation. It's very much like going to sleep, like real sleep, like something you haven't experienced in ages. But the last thing you see before you begin making your way back to the Pale is all your friends standing around you, beginning their ritual. And so while the world slowly goes dark and warm for you, for the other four of you, you begin performing this 2-hour ritual. To begin, Soraya, you will need to spend 10 sorcery to sort of kick everything off. And the majority of the performance here is sort of almost like meditation in a way, because especially when you're like Shade and you have spent a significant portion of your undeath in a sort of hodgepodge situation of magic and flesh and soul, there's a chance for just dissipation, quite frankly, of various parts of the self on death. So you are broadly tasked with just meditating and thinking about who is the person that you want to bring back, not the body, not the physical. You're not thinking about a beating heart and breathing lungs. That stuff's coming back regardless. Your task is to think about what soul, what sentience are you pulling back from the Pale, and broadly that is your 2-hour performance. So the first hour has to be performed, or the sorcery rather, has to be spent by Soraya. Is there anybody who can spend 10 sorcery for the second half? Lucas? Okay. You can tick off 10 sorcery. As far as the magic items, like I said, that is to some extent handled for you. If you're not in possession of 10 levels worth of magic items, you're basically handed 1 or 2 of these fist-sized stones. You like when you touch them, like your hair stands up on end. These are just solidified energy. There's nothing else to them. They have no function. They serve no purpose other than fueling these sorts of endeavors. The magic on these and all the other magical items in your possession is not consumed, but it is definitely channeled out from underneath the indigo sun towards the Pale. For her part, towards the end of the ritual, after you spent your 2 hours sort of meditating and contemplating who the person is that you want to bring back, Baby Shade will walk around to each of you, thinking of the shape here, from Lucas to Soren to Alana to Soraya, and she will walk up to each of you, make eye contact, and she will ask you, who do you want to bring back? So she'll begin that question with Lucas.
Scheherazade. We don't know your last name, do we? Nope. That's all I got.
Sure. Baby Shade makes her way over to you, Soren.
I would recall what Shade's true name is from when she said it out loud in our encounter in the library, right?
Yeah.
That's what I will share.
Alex, do you remember?
Not yet. We'll get to that.
Okay.
I do remember. Yeah. Alana, little Baby Shade makes her way over to you.
I'll kneel in front of Baby Shade. I want to bring back a woman full of passion and love and fire in her eyes. Scheherazade.
And finally, to you, Soraya.
When a Baby Shade comes up to me, I will reach out and gently touch one of the buns on top of her head, and I will recall how we got caught in a scuffle when we were younger, and after it was over, we complained about our hair and how it got in the way and how it needed to be out of the way, and how Scheherazade, tied her hair back into two little buns, but Lord knows I couldn't get my hair to do that. And she noticed I kept getting frustrated, so she pinned it back for me. Much simpler, much more me. So as I reach out to Baby Shade, I'll give her a small smile and my sister, my other half.
So, Shade, on your end, you actually haven't made your way back to the Pale yet. You're very much in transit, but for the purposes of this ritual, that's fine. You find yourself in this sort of in-between place. You look to your right and you see this sort of strange metropolis. There's a pale, sickly glow to it, weird sort of bluish green. You see more people than you've ever seen in your entire life. Just sort of, well, I can't say living their lives, because this is the city of the dead. But these ghosts, these various people and ideas and things and anything that has died before, occupying this city and just kind of existing. And you look to your left and you see the same room you just left, but it's different. You didn't quite realize how dull everything had become in death until you look over and everything just seems to be a little more colorful, a little brighter. The blue in Alana's hair is a lot bluer now that you're looking at it through this perspective.
Can I touch it?
You can make your way in that direction. And as you begin to make your way back to the Indigo Sun, back to the land of the living, back to your friends, you hear a voice and you feel a pull, like you've been caught on a hook. You know I can't let you go back, Leona. You turn around and you see a tall, thin man in a featureless bronze mask.
They're going to be very disappointed.
That's how it is sometimes.
You could let me go without my memories. Not my memories, without my dreams.
Maybe. In truth, I don't know. I've been told not to let you come back, and that is what I'm in the process of doing.
GM, do I have my guns?
So if you do, it's in a mental sort of non-corporeal sense. You don't have your physical guns on you because this is your soul in transit. Your physical guns are either on your body or some other physical place, which is not this place. So you could use magic, but I would probably say if you have your guns, they're more an element of your self-image than anything else.
That makes sense. Crater. You don't have to do this.
Maybe not, but I can't take that chance.
I want to weave
Sure.
family and illumination. I want to weave what I'm seeing right now. Everything I've known, everything I ever known. Send it back to my sister. About Crater. So that she knows this wasn't her fault.
Sure. Whatever sorcery cost is, I imagine that's to a large extent immaterial. So just mark off 3 sorcery and we'll say you're able to transmit this information.
And then I want to move towards Crater.
Sure, you can.
What happens next?
I don't much know what the City of the Dead is like, but he sort of looks over this metropolis. It doesn't seem that bad.
You could at least give me one more kiss before you go.
He takes off his mask. He obliges you.
I want to weave.
Okay.
Destruction and decay.
Okay. Sure, you're in touch range for sure. So what would you like to do?
I would like to basically age him beyond his time.
Okay, sure. How much sorcery are you putting into this?
The rest of everything I have, so that's going to be 5.
5. Okay, you'll need to roll against his level.
Okay.
But your venture will begin at 5, and you'll need to roll 2 dice. You'll be rolling 2 dice rather. The weaving will give you 2 dice.
Right.
So yeah.
Hold on, I gotta change the music.
I promise we're going to break soon, y'all.
Okay. I rolled a 6 and a 7.
7 makes it, but the 6 does not.
I have a sortilege.
Hidden knowledge?
Hidden knowledge. Everything else that I have. All my hidden knowledge. All my stuff.
So usually you have to
tell you before I got the success.
Yeah, because that's how it works. I'll tell you what. You can because we can do a reroll. Because people are spending money on this, so yeah, I will let you reroll the 6.
Okay.
You need a 7 or above.
Fucking. Okay.
I can't see it. What is it?
It's a 7.
Oh my god. Okay. So. Would you be okay, because there's no rules for aging, and this wouldn't be enough to kill him, I don't think. Would you be okay if I said this is reducing his level by 3?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. So, Kreiter Minis has been reduced in level from 13 to 10. As this happens, you feel him sort of
and
cringe and clench up as the magic courses through him. You see his hair. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, as I pull away, say, it's nothing personal.
He puts his mask back on. You see these wrinkled, withered hands.
You were a great lay.
I'm sorry, Scheherazade. But for now, I'm not under your account. And for the rest of you back in the Indigo Sun, right before we hit to break, 16 of the 17 versions of Kreiter Minis, which currently exists in the actuality, appear in the room. These tall, lanky, now old, now old men just sort of pop up into the room out of nothingness. And we're going to quickly cut to the break, which should have been a while ago, and we're going to come right back and see where this leaves us.
Did you say 16?
I did say 16. 17 total.
What the heck?
One is dealing with Shade/Leona.
Are we muted? Are we gone? Are we off the air?
Oh baby, I love your madness. It's so... Oh baby, I love your madness. It's...
Welcome to our Patreon. Here on Open for Adventure, we are making high quality Dungeons and Dragons content, folks. We have a great big world to share with you, and by becoming a patron, you can help us explore and expand upon this adventure. With your support, we can invest in more amazing artwork, better mics, fancy cameras, and overall stream quality. Not to mention, help us get some amazing new merch that we can use for giveaways. What do you get by becoming a patron? I'm so glad you asked. Let's take a look at the different levels and give you a sneak peek at what you can get at each tier. Did you know that the family of the First Lord Theo, the leader of the rebellion against the Empire, actually invented firearms nearly 25 years prior to the current campaign? The designs for this high-tech weapon are the Delaney family's best-kept secret. Also, they were originally invented by the late First Lady Victoria, Theo's mother. Access to lore leaks like this is what you can expect from the first tier, written in blog-style posts after each weekly session. Ever wondered what goes on off camera? The next 3 tiers give you exactly that. With Stolen Moments, you can get access to text-based roleplay moments, highlighting experiences that don't make it onto the stream, like Leona's training session with Ray and Asmrit. Stolen Moments Plus gives you access to roleplay moments featuring our guests, non-player characters, and historical figures, featuring the likes of Marshall, Annalena, and even the Empress herself. And Roleplay Addiction takes us to a whole other level. This tier gives you exclusive 30-minute videos of canon interactions not otherwise seen on stream, like late-night drunken interactions between paladins or tender moments featuring your favorite character ships. The Warm Fuzzies is super simple. It's everything I've listed so far, and also you get your name on stream after our weekly regular sessions. Every session. And our undying love. And finally, the most epic of all Patreon tiers. Drum roll, please. The Loremaster. This ultimate and final tier gets you first look access at all of the content going into our upcoming, official, open for adventure campaign setting. Lore, maps, monsters, items, dungeons, dragons. Go ahead, have a look around, make yourself at home, and consider becoming a patron to help us make this fantasy world a little bit closer to reality.
Oh, hi! My name is Express Love. I'm the Senmarian god of coffee. Did you know that in Senmaria, every cup of coffee is made with found familiar coffee beans? That's canon. In Senmaria, every cup of coffee is good coffee because it's made with love by Found Familiar. Did you know that every bag of Found Familiar coffee features artwork from incredible members of the tabletop gaming community? That's canon. Each blend and roast of Found Familiar coffee features cool D&D names like Thieves' Cant, Face Step, and Packed Magic. In Senmaria, every royal meeting that Ray attends features the Cartographer's Blend, a brew of coffee made by Found Familiar in conjunction with Devon Rue. Now that's canon. Found Familiar coffee. Buy it today.
Hi, everybody. I hope you had a good break. I hope you got something to drink, stretch, talk to your family, talk to your pets. And I think we can get right back to it. And currently, it is a ritual chamber in the middle of Fartown, which is currently occupied by by 4 of our intrepid party members. 3 helpful NPCs and 16 copies of the same enemy. So you currently find yourselves all surrounded by these 16 copies of Kreiter. What would you like to do? Because initiative will be basically y'all go, and then however many Kreiters are left will go.
I know what. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I know what I want to do.
All right. We can start with you then.
So as soon as all these Kreiters appear, my hand is immediately on my sword.
Okay.
But I don't draw it yet.
Okay.
Instead, just like Lucas and Soren saw back when we were in the 73 in the apartment, I break into 1,000 pieces of blue glass. And as I reform, I am crouched on the ground slightly. And as I stand, I tower. I am 12, and I draw my sword. Not sure which Kreiter to look at, because there's a lot.
All right.
And the blade is a deep blue with engravings on it. And just slightly I step, because I was right next to Soraya, and I stand in front of her.
Sure. Good.
Is the ritual still like happening-ish?
I would. It's still happening in the sense that, like, on your end, you're like, oh, this is about the time when we would see an effect. But it's not happening in the fact that, like, it's not going to work. And I would say that broadly, you would be able to put that together since Shade gave you the mental DM with her weaving. So you're able to quickly put together what just happened. I'll put it that way.
Kreiter.
I would like to spend my action regaining all of those sorcery points. And I'm going to stand and I'm going to face kind of away from Alana, kind of like not back to back necessarily, but there's plenty of Kreiters to look at.
Yeah.
And I'm taking this action to rest, so to speak, but my hands are already starting to move as in preparation for magic.
Sure, yeah. Soren and or Lucas?
Yeah. Would I know whether or not these are multiple reflections of the same individual, or are there legitimately like 16 separate Kreiters, like distinct, physically, metaphysically, entirely separate entities?
If you would like to take an action to do it, you could attempt an intellect task to divine what the hell is going on.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, sure. I will say this is a challenge of a level 8 because that is I'll say this is of a challenge 8 to identify the magic being used here. You can add Bene from your intellect pool. You can add a point from your hidden knowledge pool as well, if you would like.
Okay.
And you could add a sortilege. But this is a recalling of magical lore, not a magical recalling of lore. So you could also add a sortilege because you only need 1 success in this task.
Okay. Yeah, I will do all of those. That makes good sense to me.
Okay, sure.
And
the challenge has been reduced to 6. You'll roll 2 dice.
Okay, and I do need to identify which one is magic, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Purple is magic.
Oh, I would also say you have your skill in practice magic works here too.
Okay, informal magic.
You have formal magic, right? As advanced?
Yeah, formal
Yeah.
magic.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not great. Unless a 1 is gonna make it.
Unfortunately, a 1 is not going to make it. Your challenge was reduced to a 5. So yeah, you're not really able to tell what is going on. You might be able to tell as more actions occur, but broadly, right now, you're just looking around like there's a lot of this guy. Lucas, do you have any actions you would like to take?
So I have a question.
Okay, I might have an answer.
Let's say hypothetically I produce an imaginary threat.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the spell says I choose a nearby being. There are 16 Kriters, but they're all the same being. Or am I misreading that?
For the purposes of this spell, they would count as separate beings, because, for instance, if you were to do damage to one being, you would only do damage to one of them. You know what I'm saying?
No, I hear you. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out too.
Yeah. No, so they're not... So, broadly, for the sake of statistics, they're not... Like... It's not like if you shoot one, all of them are going to feel pain.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I suppose the only thing I can really think to do right now is use a thought becomes motion to pick one up and throw it at another one.
Sure, yeah. Your challenge is, I'll just say 10 for now, because he's got some modifications, but I don't have that up right now, so I'm just going to say 10.
Okay, so it's a level 4 spell.
All right, so your adventure will begin at 4 plus 1 die.
Purple is the magic one.
Yeah, I'll say that this only needs 1 die to succeed.
Can I go ahead and spend an intellect to make that easier?
Because you're already using a spell, and this is not a recollection, or this is not a task of intellect, this is casting a spell. No, this will just be the level of the spell. So whereas Soren used a spell to help an intellect task in learning the name of the house, for example. But this, no amount of like book knowledge is going to help you throw a guy better.
Well, I don't know about that.
I mean, true. No, that's fair.
Ugh. It's an 8 and a 3.
The 8 will do it. Because your venture began at 4. So yeah, you were definitely able to just sort of... why don't you describe how you lift one up and throw one at the other?
So all these Kriters just appear out of nowhere, and don't really like that. Seeing everyone else go into... well, at least seeing Alana go into some sort of defensive position, and they're interrupting the ritual, so I just kind of... level my hand, and most of my body is kind of incorporeal, but the hand itself kind of gets a glimmer of solidity to it, and at the same time, I kind of squeeze and just kind of motion with a flick of the wrist and pick up one of the Kriters and toss it into the nearest one that's approaching Alana and Soraya.
Sure, yeah, you're able to do that, and just on impact, I would say, does that have a damage it does? Or was it just damage of the level of the spell?
It does damage equal to...
I'll just say that broadly, it does. You know what? It doesn't matter. You pick one up and you just sort of lob it at another one, and they both impact with a loud thud. You could definitely hear the breaking of some bones in there, and these two sort of masked figures just sort of fall. Their corpses remain on the ground, but I won't necessarily call them corpses, but these two immobile figures sort of fall on the ground. For the part of the NPCs, Pontiff sort of looks around like, oh, this is repulsive. And so what he does is he reaches out a hand and he performs, he weaves body with fiction, and he turns one of the Kriters into this sort of like giant 10-foot tall kitten. And what this small little kitten does is it does what like those little cats do when they find something amusing, is it just sort of like looks at one of these Kriters and just like bats it with a paw and just begins like basically toying with this person as a 10-foot tall kitten. And Pontiff himself is kind of looking around like, what do I do? On her part, Emma looks around and she begins to cast the spell Circumambient Assault. And she conjures up 5 different versions of the same unfamiliar looking tall, gaunt young man with white hair and dead eyes. And you find 5 different versions of this person where it's like, oh, there's one with eyes like hot coals and carrying like a big heated chain. And like, oh, that one's got like teeth like knives and a wicked grin. And like, oh, that one's carrying a baseball bat with nails stuck into it. And while one of the Kriters is distracted by all of these different versions of this unusual looking person, Emma flings open the door of her cage, sticks out a hand as if to grab something, and just pulls. And one of the Kriters just is yanked in and just clatters into the cage, which Emma just shuts with a very disappointed look. And for their turn, they are broadly mostly moving in the direction of Soraya. And as a result, Soraya, I'm going to need you to make a withstand defense roll. You can improve your venture by spending from your physicality pool. This is a magical effect, so you will need 2 successes.
I have a Vex in physicality.
I'm going to make you spend that now, actually.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
So your venture will begin at -1. You can spend
good.
1 from your physicality to bring it up to 0.
Let's do that.
And you will need to spend a sortilege because you need 2 successes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I roll twice? Yes?
Yes. Roll twice and make sure you know which one is the sortilege, which one is the magic tie.
Okay, magic will be the
You want to add a hidden knowledge to that?
Oh,
yeah, you could add a hidden knowledge to that as well, to increase your venture by 1.
Let's do that.
All right, so your venture is beginning at a 1.
Okay. That's cocked. So it's 6 and the magic is 4.
Okay, unfortunately, that will not do it. So what happens is one of the Kriters of the bunch manages to sort of reach out and get a hold of your arm, and with a free hand weaves lies and distance. And you suddenly find yourself standing with one of him on the top of one of these towers that makes up the totality of the Hall of Records. For the rest of you, you just see one of them grab Soraya and vanish. The rest of them are sort of still fighting. So sort of holding you by the arm, this person walks to the edge of the tower. You see, he looks a lot older than you were expecting him to, than you remember him to be looking. His hair is gray and very thin in a lot of places. He's got this sort of wizened, gnarled-looking hand where you were used to this youthful, healthy-looking young man. I told your sister to give this up.
Yeah, she's pretty fucking stubborn.
You're on that. Sort of walking towards the edge of this building.
No, I'm not walking towards the edge of this building.
He's holding on. So you're certainly allowed to take an action, but like that's what he is currently in the action of doing, trying to drag you to.
Oh, okay. So I would like to essentially, so can I take an action?
Yeah.
I would like to drop my body weight to the ground, almost like go limp.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume he'll essentially try to drag me. But as he does, I'm gonna have my fingers against the ground, and as they drag, I'm going to say, "So am I." And I will summon a demon, and as my fingers run across the it's not the ground, the floor, whatever that's called. I have to roll for this, right, though?
The summoning of a demon actually takes time.
It takes an action.
Well, yeah, like, yes, it takes an action, but like you then need to communicate with it. Otherwise, you just pull something
fine. It's fine. It's just gonna be angry, and it's gonna kill both of us, and it's gonna be great. As long as he's dead, I don't care. It's fine.
Oh, okay. So sure.
I'm just gonna hope to appease to it after it kills him. That's my plan. I don't have a plan. Look, I'm up here on this roof. My sister's dead.
Okay, sure.
It's fine.
Okay. I did not know that was the direction you're going. So yeah,
it wasn't, but it is now.
What level do you want to summon? What level of creature?
Let's just level 3's fine.
Sure. You are successfully.
That's a lie. It would fine. Just 3. Great. I'm freaking out. It's fine.
Do you want another?
I want level 5, to be honest.
Okay. Sure. You conjure a level 5 demon.
And I imagine like where my fingers were dragging across. It's almost like left behind. There's like a delayed trail of ink, and then you just see claws like kind of tearing it apart to like come up through the roof.
Yep.
And now we'll deal with this demon together. Or you'll throw me off the roof and it'll deal with you.
Conjure this demon, sure. You are currently sharing the roof with one version of Kreider. And this thin, lanky, like hunched over thing that honestly looks less like it looks mostly like a connection of like there's just no real like width to it. It's like it's vaguely humanoid in shape, but it's just like everything is just these sinewy like almost cylinders. It's just like a thick wire frame of a person, basically like that. The sort of like weird bulbous head, but broadly that's what we're looking at here. All right, so that is Soraya, Alana, Lucas, and or Soren. Do you have any actions you'd wish to take?
I have a question first. Is the devil demon sooth card still in effect, or are we on a new one?
Let's pull a new one just for funsies.
Because I would like not -2 to my ventures, please.
All right, though. All right. We are playing the Eternal Mountain. This has a value of 4, and I apologize. This game is not meant to be played online, but you know what? We're doing it live. Eternal Mountain. All right, value of 4, associated with visions, swans, blades, and water. So, Lucas, you have a +1 to all of your ventures until next card pull. Meanings: unchanging, solitude, memory, eternal, and long life. That would have been a great card pull like 5 minutes ago, but So you no longer have a -1 to our adventures.
Thank goodness. Seeing Soraya just suddenly disappear, whatever one is closest to me, I am glaring daggers at Kreider. Kreider.
One of them, at least.
One of them. I'm gonna find the real one of you and I'm going to fucking kill you. And I'm just going to take both hands on my sword and just slash at this single Kreider.
Sure.
I will use a hidden knowledge and an accuracy.
All right, sure. So your venture will begin at 4 as the level of the sword. So you're brought up to 6.
And I will also use a sortilege.
Sure, yeah.
So that puts my venture at, so you already said my venture is a 6. Since
Yeah.
the sword is magical, am I already rolling 2 die or no?
Yes. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
So I'm rolling 3. With the sortilege.
Let's say yes for now.
Okay.
You might
we'll
not actually be able to add the sortilege when you already have a magical effect incoming, but for now, let's just say yeah, sure.
Sure. 2 7s and a 5.
Yeah, the 2 7s will do it.
A great
and I'll
sword
just say
does
for
6 damage, Alex.
Yeah, no, so I'll just say now broadly because, so without getting into the technicality of it all, yeah, you're basically able to sort of cleave one of these Kreiders in 2, especially with your increased size. Soren and or Lucas, do you have any actions you wish to take?
Yeah, I have a very quick mechanical question. Can I do 2 things at once?
Define do 2 things at once. You can't cast 2 spells in the same turn, for instance.
Have 2 forte abilities that I would like to use at the exact same time.
What are the abilities?
I would like to use Words Become Truth to, holding a piece of paper and a pen, write a word on this piece of paper, and then everyone who is close to me will see whatever the word is, whatever the noun is on this piece of paper. They will see that it will appear, look, smell, taste like whatever it is. Simultaneously, I would like to speak using words of emotion to influence the way people around me are feeling.
Because those are basically 2 distinct magical effects that you need to spend sorcery for to initiate, I would say no, you would need to pick one or the other. It's like casting 2 spells in the same turn in other RPGs.
Okay. Fair enough. I just wasn't sure mechanically.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
In that case, I'm just going to use Words of Emotion.
Sure. Okay.
And I'm going to just kind of put my hands out and say, all right, now, everyone, I realize that tensions are very high, but we have absolutely no reason to be fighting right now, and I think we should all take a very deep breath and stop what we are doing.
Okay.
And I am going to add 3 enhancements to my interaction pool. This is a 4th level ability. And I'm going to try to convince everyone in the room to stop fighting.
Okay, sure. What's the level on that ability? Level 4 ability?
4, yeah.
Okay, sure. So I'll let you cast that and attempt to persuade everybody in the same action, because why not? So how this will work is, especially if you're trying to convince everybody in the room, so you can spend an interaction bene and or a hidden knowledge to bring your venture up to a max of 6. You will be rolling 3 dice. And the thing is, Alana and Lucas would also have to roll resist saves, defense rolls rather, against this.
Yeah.
because you're indiscriminately using it against everybody, because you can't really not use it against everybody.
Yes. I also have a skill of persuasion.
Okay,
can
yeah, that
I
would actually
add
bring it
that
up.
to make it a
Yeah.
7?
Yeah, so your
Okay.
venture begins at 7.
Okay. Alrighty. 3 dice. Do I need to indicate which one is which?
Yeah, one of them will be a normal die, 2 of them will be magic.
Okay. The green one will be normal.
All right. Lucas and Alana, can you please roll resist defense checks against the magical effect? You will need 2 successes.
Of the 7?
Alana, at least 7, because there's also a roll going into it as well.
Yeah.
So if I spend a sortilege, I get to add a dice.
Yes, you will need to add a dice because you need 2 successes to resist this magical effect.
Okay.
Damn it.
I got a 6 on my normal die.
Mhm.
And then my magical die are a 4 and a 1.
Okay, sure.
I'll use a hidden knowledge and a sortilege. So it puts my
Sure.
venture at a 1.
So I will say that broadly, yes, you're able to sort of calm these raging craters who broadly these take up these defensive stances. You notice that they all have, for instance, like they're all carrying like basically the same gun. So they're sort of like drawing these weapons and sort of looking around at everybody, but they're taking a defensive stance.
I needed 2 successes.
Yes.
I turn to you, Soren, and lower my blade. What are you doing?
And Lucas, what was your roll for defense?
I got a 9 and a 3. I've got 1 in resist, and then the +1 from the whatsits.
Sure. Unfortunately, a 5 basically will not do it.
Okay.
So everybody in the room has been successfully calmed. So the only so if they're calmed, and Emma doesn't really take any particularly interesting actions. She seems to basically step back again and prepare to cast some sort of a spell on the next thing that moves in a hostile manner. The only thing that does anything interesting are the 2 cats in the room. One, the small little Mr. Faust, this raggedy little white cat just looks around and just hisses. And 2, this like 10-foot tall kitten just turns around looking at everyone with this like dead man like just hanging from his mouth. Just like as cats, like a cat holding a mouse. It's a cat holding this dead man in a black suit and a bronze mask, just looking like.
With all of us, quote unquote, calmed, can I quickly address one of the criters?
Sure, yes. Quickly.
Where's Soraya?
I'm sorry, I totally blanked out on that for a second. We're about to find out.
I was gonna ask, I know I've been calmed, but do I still get to do something?
Sure, yeah.
I talk to Soraya. Where are you?
Can I respond?
You can.
Roof. That's it.
And I go transparent, and if I could, I'd like to float up.
Sure. So this is on the realm of a very long range. So you wouldn't be able to make it there in one turn, but you can definitely start making your way up.
I do that. And I turn to Alana and I say, roof, and I just float.
New. Especially at seeing that you've conjured a demon rapidly. The one crater on the roof sort of like lets go of your hand, sort of like pushes you away, mutters something about more trouble than you're worth, and is going to weave lies and reality. And I need you to roll a let's say a resist defense roll, since actually no, let's say with resist. Let's say with resist. Resist defense roll against this magical effect. You can add Bene from your intellect pool. You can add one from your hidden knowledge pool to bring your adventure to start up to a level 2.
I will do both of those.
And you'll need to add a sortilege to resist the magical effect as well.
And I will do that as well. Okay, so I'm rolling 2.
Yes, 2. Just make sure you know which one is the magic dice.
I think it's still magic. That's they're both 6.
Unfortunately, that does not make it, even though it's pretty good. So what happens is he sort of reaches out, and you're not dead. Let me quickly clarify that. But everything starts to swim, and you sort of check out for a moment. Now, broadly for the rest of you, are there any additional particular actions you would like to take? Because at this point, the craters are going to start dispersing.
If I wanted to try and weave interaction and distance to pull myself to Soraya, how much sorcery would that be?
Let's see. So that's basically a teleport. So
my range, default range with my new secret is far. If I'm targeting someone else.
If you're targeting someone else, let me quickly. So this is very far. So you would need to spend. So I think I don't remember what teleport is off the top of my head. I think it's 6. Let me quickly. Do you mind if I quickly check the level of effect table?
I go for it because this is a close availability on my sorcery.
All right, so I will say that it's a level 5.
I do it
because
I'm gone.
All right, sure. Yeah, you vanish broadly just in time to see Soraya sort of like be transported somewhere.
Can I could technically move and take an action, but can I just for flavor like grab him?
Yeah, sure.
Where is she?
The gray. Is there anything else anyone would like to do? Because again, broadly, they are retreating.
Back in the room downstairs, Soren is just going to encourage them along, use that words into truth thing to write down. I'm not even sure what I want to do here. It just has to be something that I can hold in my hand. So like just a gigantic bomb, and just to hold it in my hand to encourage them. It's not a real thing, but like,
yeah,
I'm gonna get them out of there real quick. And just chase them out holding this giant explosive.
Yeah. So what they see, I'll tell you what they see from their perspective, is you're holding up like a big black cartoon-looking bomb, like this big sphere with the burning wick on it. And so what these simulacra basically are seeing are they're being chased out of this room by an angry German man holding a cartoon bomb. And yeah, they disperse as rapidly as they can. Many of them just begin teleporting out, basically.
Cool. That's all I want to do.
Sure.
Question.
Yes.
As I float up through the floor and take a look and see what direction I'm going, and see Alana holding onto Kreider and approach, is there any way that I would feel a residual spell that's lingering? when
I mean,
he wove?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, you might be dimly aware that some magic was cast here. You not necessarily know what kind it was, but yeah, you can feel that some magic was done here. You have no idea what that would be, but you can be dimly aware that the magic was done here.
Follow-up question. Is it enough to be able to counterspell it?
No. So
Damn.
this is magic of a relatively high level, and your counterspell is limited, to my knowledge, of a level 1 or 2 right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is
Okay.
Yeah. This magic is broadly, his magic is going to be of a level equal to him. So his magic is going to be starting at 10 or higher.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah. Quickly jumping over, Soraya. You wake up with the mother of all headaches. Completely like, what the fuck is going on?
That's how I usually wake up.
Honestly, though. But yeah, you wake up just... Maybe you drank too much last night or something, but you wake up in your penthouse in sunny Mexico City, and another day.
I get up and go look for my sister. Make sure she's
Sure.
awake and ready to start the day.
Yeah, sure. So you get up and something feels off. Like you get up and you look around your penthouse and you see two of a lot of things. There's 2 sets of dishes in the sink. You for some reason have 2 bedrooms. But you go into the second bedroom in your penthouse and you're like, who am I even looking for?
I'll step back out of the bedroom and God. I guess I have no memory of any. Okay, all right.
So something definitely feels off,
but I can't put my finger on what it is.
Yeah, nothing immediately comes to mind.
Okay. And the bedroom that I walk into, the second bedroom, just looks like essentially a guest bedroom kind of thing.
Yeah, granted, it looks like out of character. It looks like a bedroom that Shade might have been using.
Sure.
But you don't know that. You just walk into this messy bedroom and all of the accoutrements that are used in there. But
that's a lot to think about, and my head is pounding. So I will, I guess, go to make some coffee and I guess start the day. What I would imagine to be a normal day.
Mm-hmm. Sure. You make your coffee and begin cooking the books, so to speak. And it takes you probably about maybe 2 or 3 hours before you're going ahead. You're doing your books, and then you see this name in one of the various records you have referencing one Scheherazade. And that seems pretty familiar.
I'll try to remember why it seems familiar. Do they owe me money?
Right, though. Yeah.
Probably. Like, let's be real.
For real. So we are going to play quickly another Sooth card because I probably should have done that earlier. Oh, great. All right. Enveloping Darkness. Value 5. Mysteries, Rats, Mirrors, and Stone.
Cool.
Meanings, loss, and endings. So, yes, I will say that you're able to, like, you get, like, basically flashbacks of, like, everything that has happened within the past, like, few months. And you quickly realize what's going on and where you are, and this tremendous feeling of loss just envelops you.
Do I have any idea how to get back?
I will say, so, yes. So, you know that your magic broadly work roughly about the same as it would work in Indigo. And that you would know that a level 5 demon perhaps might be able to get you back to where you need to go.
So I'll take a minute to, like, because I feel like when you don't think you could, like, that's like a real weird realization to be like, yeah, I can summon demons. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like that's a little bit to grapple with, I think, immediately. But I will create a protective circle, because that is, I mean, no, screw the gray. But and then I will summon a demon for aid. At 5th level.
Sure.
And I think I think I will in the book that I had, very similar to the demon I summoned on the roof that I vaguely recall now. I will just trace my finger over Shahrazad, and much like on the roof, it will it looks like ink, but it's just void, so that the demon can join me.
Sure. So I pulled another Sooth card, and I'm sorry, but I fucking love it. So we have pulled the Messiah card. Value of 7. Meanings: change, salvation, and familial love. So you trace out your sister's name from this records book of various drug dealings and associated activities that you need to cover up, disguise, and otherwise remove from recorded existence. And this sort of like dark circle forms itself on the ground in front of you. And up from the ground rises you. Why are you talking to me?
God, this is already terrible. I need you to take me back to Shade. I need you to take me back to not here. Stupid forbidden make-believe land.
But why do you even want to go back to hang out with some alcoholic nerd? You hang out at your house where you have to deal with someone else's parties. All those people. I mean, I think it sounds a lot better here. Got
This isn't-
power, money, quiet. What, you want a ghost to just pop up behind you, give you snide comments in your head?
This isn't real.
Maybe not, but what? You'd rather spend 3 hours watching sister's girlfriend hem and haw over something? Come on.
Yes. I would rather do all of those things than be here without them. Is that what you want to hear?
Is that what you want to say?
It's not. Just because I don't want to say it doesn't mean it's not true. Can you take me back or not?
I mean, I could, but I don't really want to go back.
Oh, God. You're right. You probably couldn't do it anyway. You laugh. We
Thought
couldn't
that was
save.
Alex.
Oh. Couldn't save Shade. So, of course, it makes sense. I get it. Dodging. Afraid to fail twice in one day. I get it.
I mean, look, if you want to go back and never have another moment of peace and quiet for the rest of your life, have at it. And you turn around, walk to your front door, pull it open, and you see what you might see if you were to open up the front door of your house at Indigo, the dungeon. Go if you want.
We're fucking annoying. And I'm going to walk through.
Sure. You walk through and you find yourself basically in your front doorstep.
Luukas, am I allowed to talk back to you without you initiating? How does this work? I would know at this point. Soraya would know.
We have a brain bond.
Yeah.
Yes. So here's the thing though. Does the secret specify if Soraya can talk to you or if you can be heard by Soraya? Because there is a difference. in the meantime, Soraya, if at any point you turn your back on the creature that brought you here, you hear the loud sort of fluttering of feathered wings, and if you were to turn around, you might see a spare white feather here or there.
I don't have time to think about that right now. That's... God, I'm annoying. I'm just gonna try to find my friend. And... Yeah. Oh no, that's different. I guess I'd probably start... Does it look like any time has passed? Since I disappeared?
Not any large amount of time.
Okay, well then I'm gonna start making my way back towards
Sure.
where I last saw them.
Yeah.
So, words on the spiritual link.
Mm-hmm.
When you die, you can still communicate normally with a person you choose when learning the secret, even if you're in a stage where it normally wouldn't be possible. There's no limit to the range of the communication.
Okay, sure. I'll say it goes both ways.
Lucas? Are you
Soraya?
still...
Where
Is
are you?
I'm leaving my house.
Well, how did you get there?
I went to the Gray. It was a whole thing.
Did...
I'm on my way.
I'm assuming it didn't work. Alex.
What didn't work?
The ritual.
Shit.
Oh, yeah, no, Shade's still dead.
It didn't work. It was Kreider. It's Kreider's fault.
Are you saying this out loud, or is this all mental?
It's all mental. Speaking of which, have we killed Kreider yet?
I mean, you've killed a few of them. I mean, downstairs there's a cat dangling one.
4 out of what?
But-
17?
Yeah, a few out of 17.
I wipe away some angry tears and I start making my way back
Alana's
down.
still holding on to one.
Oh yeah. Well, he didn't leave.
I know you're holding on. You said you were grabbing him.
Oh yeah,
If you
I'm
want.
not letting go then.
If you want, I could eat him off the roof.
Is this Kreider the same strength as regular Kreider, or is it kind of like broken? Can I get a vibe off that?
Okay, so here's the thing. 1, it is kind of broken, but 2, he is still capable of teleporting. So if you have anything you would like to do over the course of like 5 seconds, you can go for it. But if you're like, oh, I'm gonna, grab this guy and yank him around and keep him as my prisoner, he's going to vanish.
I'll pull him very close.
Sure.
Whatever relationship we had before the war is gone. I'm coming for you. And I'll let go.
Sure. You let go.
Where should we meet you, Soraya?
I'm on my way to you.
Okay. I turn and face Alana and just appear, or I'm still there. She's coming. She's on her way back. She took a detour to the Gray.
She's back. Oh. Okay.
We'll make this work.
Let's go meet back up with Soren.
Agreed.
And I'll start making my way back down.
Sure.
12 feet tall, ducking in the hallways.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled, by the way, and I will be like this for 8 hours.
Love it. All right. So broadly speaking, not a whole lot goes on at any point in between now and whenever you might meet up.
Is Baby Shade still there?
Baby Shade is no longer Baby Shade. The monograph still exists, but it is in a different form entirely. It's currently this sort of like weird three-dimensional shape with 17 different vertices. But it's clear that this is the monograph, but it's not Baby Shade anymore.
But we still have Shade's body.
Yes.
I was about to
Yep,
say.
that's still a thing. Yeah.
When I get back down to the ritual room, I will crouch down and gently pick up Shade's body to
Sure.
carry back to the dungeon.
Mhm.
Please put me on my bed.
And I guess I don't say anything.
Sure. The only thing, Alana, as you pick up Shade's body, Emma Elizabeth approaches you.
Emma,
I admit I don't know what just happened, but send Soraya over to me when she's ready.
I'll send her the message.
There's another way to get this done, but it's it's not great.
We've already decided that we're going to bring Shade back, great or not. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, indeed. Emma lights a cigarette and begins telling a group of young goetics who've just re-entered the room to clean all this, entered the ritual room to just clean all this shit up.
Before we leave, I'll put one big hand on Pontiff's shoulder if he's still there.
Yeah, he is still there, kind of surveying.
Thanks for helping.
That didn't really go like I thought it would go.
Get some rest.
Sort of nods at you.
I imagine I run into you all. I guess I don't know about when I would run into you. We're going to cross paths because we're coming from the direction that the other group is going. And I imagine we would be taking the same trail. And when I see you all, I'm just going to stop.
Emma says there's another way we can bring her back. And to go see her when you're ready.
Sure.
I'm still holding her body, by the way.
I'm going to take a few steps closer. And much like during the ritual with baby Shade, I will touch one of the buns on her head.
Where do you want me to put her for now?
As we take her back to the dungeon, she can stay in her room. And I will kind of move to the side to let you continue walking. And then I'm just going to fall to my knees. And I'm going to start crying.
And unless anybody else has anything they would like to do, I think this is where we can call it for tonight.
Can someone find the letter or the picture?
Oh, true, yeah.
Is the letter addressed to Soraya? How far back do you, how long does it take you to get back to the dungeon, Soraya?
Probably not too long. I think there is a part of me that is tempted to go talk to Emma Elizabeth, but it's been a long day. And I don't know if I'm assuming whatever it is that is the alternative is going to be just as, if not more, involved in what we just did. I will reluctantly return. Probably not too long after you all get back. I would say no more than an hour and a half. I definitely took my time walking back though.
Then I think what happens is as I put Shade's body down on her bed, the pillows just move slightly enough where it falls onto the floor. And you find me holding the unopened envelope, waiting for you to get back. Looks like she left something. And I'll hold it out to you.
I will take it. I'll open it. And I will sit on the bed beside her. I'm just holding it. I mean, there's not a lot written. And Alana, you probably get the impression that Soraya's already done more crying today than she like would in like her entire life. So it's not that she wouldn't be crying right now. It's just like she can't. Like she just. I'm just staring at it. And there is definitely an air of defeat. Because this is exactly what I was afraid of.
I will wordlessly take your hand.
I will squeeze it. But I won't look at you.
I think that's it for tonight. So because because next week is our last session, we're going to be doing advancement a little different, and I will be talking about that with the players individually. Well, not individually. I'll be basically talking that out with everybody because some people will be completing their arcs on the last session, and that will provide them absolutely no benefits in terms of what acumen they can spend because they're already on the last session. So that will be a later discussion. So we will not go through the usual dispensation of XP tonight. So that said, I think we can all just quickly go around and give our own individual outros, mention our favorite parts of the session, and I think we can log off for the night. So yeah, hi everybody. My name is Alex. I had the pleasure of running this game tonight. You can find me on this same channel at 4 Eastern on Sundays, playing Paladin in a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign run by the wonderful
Paladin Bard.
Oh, Paladin Bard. Yeah, that's
Palabard.
right. Palabard. Barded something like that.
Yeah, whatever.
But yes, so yeah, that's what I'm doing on Sundays, and yeah, that's all I currently have going on right now. Let's see, favorite part of the session. There's a lot of good stuff this session, honestly. Come back to me. I had so much that I liked. Come back to me.
Hi, I'm Mindy. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch and everywhere on the internet at MKY1713. I had the joy of playing Soraya. I play a bardical. It's a bard oracle. Monday nights with Fates Chosen at 7:30 Eastern time. My favorite part. I'm gonna keep it nice and light because I feel like nice and light is great. The giant kitten. I'm going with that for my favorite part because all the other favorite parts were heavy on my soul. So, yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Ren. I'll go next. And today I played Lucas. And when I'm not playing Invisible Sun here, I am here with Alex and Camille on Sundays in the Sunday Friends game, where I play a fighterer named Devereaux Thistlebrook. And I am also a voice of a character in a podcast called Roads Uncharted. You can listen to us on Simplecast, Spotify, iTunes, or Google Podcasts. And my favorite part of the session this evening, there were a whole bunch of great things, but I think one of my favorite kind of side notes was when my little dancing gem friends were still alive, and then they immediately just died.
Oh,
it was
no.
so delightfully disappointing.
Sure, I'll go. Hi, my name is Vacation Josh. As opposed to normal Josh, I am not dressed up. So I'm just here, just straight chilling. Anyways, yeah, you can find me on the internet at Joshua M. Simons. And that's everywhere except for here on Twitch, where it's just Joshua Simons. Someone stole my M, and that's fine. Because I didn't need it anyways. Beyond this, you can find me streaming on my own channel, usually on Wednesdays and Sundays when I'm not on vacation. Starting next month, I will be doing a very quick little short campaign here on this channel, which will be fun D&D in space. So come check that out. There will be an announcement as soon as I can get my act together and get off of vacation to actually put a formal announcement out there, because I don't have the. It's fine. I'm trying not to work too hard. Anyways, that's me. My favorite moment was here's the thing. This is my favorite moment in my head, when Soraya summoned a demon to escape from the Grey, and the demon was actually Soraya. I was like, okay, is she her own inner demon? And then maybe it's an angel? Is Soraya a level 5 demon? Is Soraya a level 5 angel? I don't know. I've got a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. That's my favorite moment.
Aren't
Back to you.
also part of Modern Gods?
Oh, that's right. I am in Modern Gods. That's starting in like 2 weeks. That's really soon. Gonna be DM'd by Juan Carlos, our good friendo Sambero. And that's gonna be a lot of fun too. Kind of a little post-apocalyptic. It's gonna be fun.
Thank you. I'll go next. Hi, I'm Mare. When I'm not here on Thursdays having my heart ripped out by Alex, I am playing Cat Emberheart on the Sunsets on Summer Elder Scrolls campaign run by our lovely goat. That runs at 6 Central on this channel. And on Saturday, I will be running a one-shot set in my homebrew world of Etios starting at 10:30 a.m. Central. You can also find me on Twitter at Archmage of Dice. Josh took my favorite part because that was really cool and awesome, and I loved it. So I will go with Shade just weaving destruction and decay to fuck Kreider up. That was badass.
That's me. Hi. I'm Camille. You can find me on Twitter at CamilleDoesDND. You can also find the channel Open for Adventure on Twitter at Open4Adventure. I do lots of stuff. I just work here. I run Fate's Chosen. I run Sunday Friends. I have a new Asmrin campaign coming up. I make dice trays. I make dice now? Okay, that's brand new. Okay, don't get excited about that. We made a set of dice. We're getting ahead of ourselves. It's fine. If you want to get involved with the channel, we are always looking to welcome new O4A bays. Come join our Discord. Come say hi. Come introduce yourself. Don't be lonely out there in this hard time. My favorite part... Oh no. Tall Alana. Shattering. Oh, it's so cool. I can't take it. I'm forgetting something. Oh! Our Warm Fuzzies. Mindy, would you do our Warm Fuzzies, please?
Sure. We have Belchavez.
Chavez.
Here we have Andrew Flush with the tables Bay of Gifts. And then we have Orion
Skyrender.
And then we have Mitch D.
Mitch.
And Gamer Lives.
Gamer Lives with a 1 and a 3.
And then we have Seth.
Sev.
And then we have Quincy.
Quincy.
Then we have Christina.
Christina.
Yeah!
We love our warm fuzzies.
Thank
love
you, Mindy. If you would like to be a Warm Fuzzy, all you have to do is become a $13 Patreon tier patron. And you will have your name on the screen every screen, or name on set on stream every stream. All right, we're gonna wrap this up because I am talking a lot, but I love you all very much.
Love you.
Wait, can I?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Can I interject my?
Oh yeah.
I've
Your
narrowed it
favorite
down
part.
to 3 favorite parts of the
Gosh.
session.
Give them all.
So, 1, Soren specifically mentioning his brown combat boots instead of the black combat boots.
Oh my
God.
That
god.
was just.
Love that.
It was everything I want, everything I love about Soren and more. Second was sassing Soraya as Soraya.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was just like okay, narrative implications, whatever that my players can have. But I just had fun just sassing Soraya.
As
That
you
was
should.
just fun.
all the sass characters.
And I really enjoyed watching everybody's face when I said the word Leona. That was solid.
Love you, Mindy.
Also, that was Camille's idea.
Yeah.
Of
Whatever.
course it was. It was good. It was a great idea.
Whatever. I'm done. I should have stayed in the gray. This is does that make me Kestra? Because
Is it? You have a secret name.
y'all never know.
We'll never know. All right, y'all.
Fourth watch.
Bye, sweet friends.
Bye, sweet friends.
See you for the finale next week. Tune in.